Now, we're going to focus on squat mobility today. Okay, so we're starting a little bit late, so we're going to finish just a little bit late. I'm pretty sure this class is going to take a little bit more than half an hour. I don't want to cut anything out because we're going to focus on the 3 joints that are involved in squatting: your hips, your knees and your ankles. And being able to get into a deep squat, okay, being able to get your bum right down, isn't just about flexibility in those joints. It's about strength in the glutes and strength in the joints as well, to be able to hold you down there. So sometimes you can get down there if you're holding on to something. Morning, Kate, the other Kate. Sometimes you can get down there, but you know, you might find you need a little bit of help with that and a little bit of strengthening rather than just stretching. So we're going to look at a few different things so you can kind of work out where your issues lie. So it's more of a kind of tutorial as well as a class at the same time. You need something like a thick block, so a thick book or something like that, that you're going to use when we're kind of practicing some of the squats later on. And also you're going to need a towel that you can roll up like this, okay? Now, if you find that any positions give you pain, you know, especially in the knees, if you're getting pain in the knees and you can't flex them properly, then don't push it. You know, if it's just tightness, then you can push it a little bit, but I don't want you to go so deep if you're getting knee issues or you've got knee kind of problems. So we'll just see how it goes as we go along. You can modify the exercises as we go. We're going to start down on your back, and I just want you to lay on your back, have your bits and pieces nearby, and we're just going to hug the knees in. So nice and easy to start with. Slowly lower. Throughout the class, we're going to engage the core of, as always, having a strong core will help your squat. Now, I want you to just hug your knees in, bring them in towards your chest, and just see how that feels. Check out how the hips are feeling. Does it pinch? But also the knees. Ideally, you see, I can get my calves onto the back of my thighs here and my heels to my bottom, and that doesn't really hurt. Okay, so just see how that feels. Don't force it if your knees are really quite tight. It might just be that your quads are tight and that will stop you. And so just give it a little rock and a circle and just get your breathing going. And then take your arms out and just gently float your knees over to the side. So let's just mobilize the lower back, look to the left, inhale up and go the other way. Look to the right. Good. And again, engage the core, breathe out. Up and away. One last one. Good. And then bring your feet to the floor underneath your knees. Arms down by your side. Breathe in. Let's roll up into our bridge. So another thing that's important in a squat, like I said at the start, is strong glutes. So if you struggle to get up here, you find your glutes aren't very strong, they can't hold you, that's going to affect your squat and your ability to sink low into it. So we're just going to do some little pulses here. We're going to warm up the glutes. So squeeze and also help the pelvis. Tuck and release. Squeeze. Squeeze. Good. Exhale. Good. Let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll back down. Hug your knees in again. Sometimes by just strengthening the back of the body, you just get a little bit more flexibility pulling your knees in. And then rock yourself up and turn yourself round onto your all fours. So we're coming into an all fours or our tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. So let's reset this position. Push away from the floor. Knees directly under the hip bone. Don't let yourself be scrunched up. A little bit of length there. Now think about drawing the belly button up towards the spine. Breathe in. And let's go into our cat stretch. So let's round out the back from the bottom to the top of the head. And then release. So we're just warming up the spine. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale into the cat. And release. Breathe in. Just 2 more. Think about lifting the pelvic floor, drawing up into your belly button. And release. And then find that neutral position. So we want to stay stable through the body. We want to keep the hips square. So we're going to do a hydrant. Now, what we're working here is hip mobility and hip strength. Two things that you need. So we're going to take the knee out to the side and back in. We're going to push and in. So squeeze it out. Try not to let the hips tilt. So I'm not kind of lifting like this. I'm keeping everything square. Now I want you to turn this into a nice big circle. And just be aware of any popping or cracking, because that can be that tendon flicking over the bone. And I have done a little tutorial on snapping hip and how to avoid it, mainly through strengthening the core. And let's just sweep this knee around. Let's get it moving. Get that hip warmed up. Good. And now take the knee out to the side as high as you can without tilting your hip. We're going to go from this position, which is abduction of the hip, right back into extension of the hip. You see that? So it goes from here. Keep your knee as high as you can without arching your back. Let me show you from this position. It goes out to the side, you see? But then it goes straight behind. Sole of the foot towards the ceiling. So let's have a go at this. Up and out. Up. Squeeze the glutes. This is really good for the glute and the side of the hip. And I know you're working that upper body as well here. Out. Lift it high. Squeeze. Good. 4 more. 3, 2. Now squeeze it up, squeeze the bum, hold it, and release. Take a quick shell stretch. Take your knees apart, toes together, go back, reach your arms away. Another good way to assess how the joints are. How do your knees feel? How do your hips feel? How do your ankles feel? Okay? It's one of those or more than one of those that will be affecting your ability to squat. Breathe in. Now come back into your all fours again. Let's reset up. Bring the knees back under the hips. Engage the core. Lift it up on the exhale. Hold it in. And take the left knee out, in. Go on, out. So we're just warming up the side of the glute. Out and in. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now go for your circles. Big circle round. Draw that circle without moving anything else. Don't be wiggling your rest of your body around. Draw that belly in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now remember, hold the leg up as high as you can. Transition from here to here. Squeeze the glute. Don't overarch your back like this. I want you to keep that neutral spine. So here, here. Don't worry if you can't get your knee as high as me. Work towards that. Work towards, it's more about strength really than mobility, this one. You've got to really get those glutes working to hold your leg up. 5, 4, 3, keep breathing. 1, and release. Bring the knee down. Again, take another quick shell stretch, knees fairly close together this time, and just give your wrists a little shake. I know that can become quite tough on the wrists. Okay, now we're going to have a little look at the down dog position. We won't do this for long. If this is too much, okay, and you don't like down dog, just come onto your forearms and do the same kind of, we're going to do some little hip circles. So you can do this on your forearms if your wrists or shoulders are a problem. I didn't say earlier you need a chair as well for this class, so if you haven't got a chair, I'll give you a chance to go and grab one. Okay, so we're going to come into our plank position and then we're going to push back into the downward dog. Now, in a down dog, you don't want it to be rounded like I am now. You want your tailbone in the air as much as you can. So you might need your knees bent for this, which I do to do this properly. I need to. Now, it might be because your calves are really tight. That's my problem, and I can't get my heels down without my back rounding. Now, to see if that's true, come onto your toes, right onto the balls of your feet and your toes, and then see if you can keep the straight leg. See, I can do this much better up on my toes. So my hamstrings aren't limiting me, it's my calves. The minute I try and put my calves down, I really struggle. So this is where you can sort of see if what that's doing. If you can't get, I'm going to come forward slightly, your feet to the floor like this without bending the knees, that's fine. Now don't worry if you can't get your heels down at all. Work at pressing the ribs towards the thighs with the knees bent. Now come right up onto the toes. Stretch the right leg back and up. This is where you might want to come onto all fours or forearms. And I want you to start with a little circle here. So right leg, left knee is bent, left heel is off the floor. Circle the right leg. Now try and make that circle bigger. This is where it gets tough. Round. Now you might not be able to get it all the way round. Really brace the core. Now go back the other way with your circle. Start small and then see if you can get bigger. I'm a bit close to the wall here, but this is cool. Big circle. And then release. Come back down. Okay, if you need to move forward slightly, if you're running out of space, move forward, soften the knees. Right onto the right foot, ball of the foot. I'm keeping my right knee really bent. I press my left leg up and I do my little circles. Brace the tummy. And then I get bigger. I want to go round the side. I know the arms are aching. Good upper body mobility, stability work. Back the other way, little ones. Squeeze the glute. And bigger ones. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Come down onto the floor, come back, and give your shoulders a roll. So hip mobility there and calf stretching, seeing how the back of the legs and the hamstrings and the calves feel and what's limiting you. You know, if your calves are really tight, we need to work on the mobility through the calves and the Achilles, but it could be a strength thing as well. The front of your shins might not be strong enough, so we'll look at that. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit more ankle mobility work. We're going to come back into plank, and then I want you to try and step your right leg forwards between your hands and drop the back knee. If you can't get your leg all the way forwards, drag it forwards, okay? And then I want you to come forwards and press this front knee as far forwards as you physically can. Yeah, it can go in front of the foot. I want it to go in front of the foot because when you're in a deep squat, your knee juts forwards of your foot, and that's fine. Excuse me, as long as it doesn't give you pain. And we're talking not just tightness or discomfort, but, you know, real pain within a joint. So I'm pressing here. And where you're feeling it now will give you a clue, okay? Are you feeling it in your calf from here, down into your Achilles? This is me, this is where I'm tight. Or are you feeling it in the knee? Is it pinching a bit, or are you feeling it in the hip? Now let's just rock back, just take the weight off, let the blood flow back to the knee, and then come forwards again. Come on, really press that knee forwards. Keep your heel glued to the floor. And again, let's rock back. And press forwards. Hold it here. Keep breathing. Keep pushing that knee straight in line with the middle of your feet. Don't let it roll in or out. Okay, and then from here, tuck your back toe. Step your right leg back and change it for your left. There may be a difference from one side to the other if you've had an injury on one side. Have you sprained your ankle a lot? Have you had a lot of Achilles tendonitis problems on this side? Okay, so you might need to work more on one side than the other to get a good squat. Press forwards. Get this knee as far forwards as you can. See how the hip feels? Mine's all about the calf. Press. Good. Hold it. Breathe in. And then come back. Rock back a little. Ease off the hip and the knee. And come forward. Squeeze. And release. And squeeze. Hold it this time for me. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. Into it. Don't let your heel lift off. It's tempting for the heel to come off. And then release. And then bring it back and take another little breather. Give your shoulders a roll. And then we're going to do a bit more on the ankle and the hip here. So we're going to sit, and I'll show you from here. We're going to sit as tall as we can. And then we're going to bring your right foot in towards your bottom. Now this will tell us a lot, okay? Can you get your foot close to your bottom? Yeah? Lots of things have to happen to do that. You need good mobility at your knee, obviously. You need, your hip is flexing as well, but also your ankle needs to have a certain amount of mobility to get to this position. Now if you struggle and your knee is giving you discomfort, this is where your towel comes in. So you've got a towel. I've rolled mine up. So roll it into a bit of a sausage. Doesn't want to be too big. And pop it in the back of your knee. So if your knee is a bit of a limiting factor, this is quite nice. Just bring it back as far as you can and hold the towel here. So we're like this. Okay, if you don't need the towel, that's fine. Bring that foot as close towards your bottom as you can. And then what I want you to do is pop your hands just behind you, and I want you to press your weight into that right foot. And see if you can lift your buttocks off the floor. Pushing the knee forwards, keeping the heel down. Now you might want your blocks for this. So if you need something to push off, okay, you can have one block on each side. Heel is in, and you push off those blocks. Now if you can't get off the floor at all and you're just like, don't worry, okay? Just think about pressing forwards into that foot. And let's just hold it here. Squeeze and hold. Go on, push that heel down. Work on your ankle mobility. You might feel an ache in the front of your shin, okay? So those are the muscles that need strengthening. These muscles that run up here, they're often a little bit weak compared to the calf. And then release. Good. Let's give that a little shake out. Let's see what the other side's like. So let's bring your left foot in. If you need a towel on this side, grab a towel. I want that foot to come as close to your bottom as you can get it, okay? And assess how that feels through those joints. And then from here, I mean, some really flexible people can get themselves off the floor with their arms here, okay? It's a version of a piston squat, okay? Single leg kind of deep squat. It's called a piston squat, and you need amazing mobility for that. Good. Now keep your heel on the floor. Push your knee forwards. If you can get your bottom off, go for it. Don't worry if you can't. Just think about trying to just lean forwards or push yourself forwards a little. Now I want you to hold this for a couple of breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And if you're getting an ache in your shin or your ankle, that's good. You're stretching it, you're working it, you're strengthening it. And release. Okay, take the towel out, move your blocks out the way, and bring yourself onto your back again. And I want you to bring your right knee off the floor. Find your imprint, so draw your belly down. Now, you can have this knee bent if you struggle to keep your back down, or you can straighten out this leg. But what I don't want is when we do this, the back to arch. What we're going to do is try and bring the right knee towards the right shoulder, using your own muscle. So you pull it towards your right shoulder, don't you lose your imprint, and you push it away. So we're going to pull it in as close to that right shoulder as you can get it. Got to work your hip flexors, push away. Bring it in. and push it away. Hold that back. Inhale. Exhale. Belly in. And pull, 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 pull. So often we need stronger hip flexors. Often they get tight because they're weak, and we want to strengthen them. That's going to help support you in a squat. Pull. Flex your foot and push. 2 more. Pull. Get it slightly outwards and up. Push. 1 more. The hip might start to ache a bit. Those are those muscles working. Push. Now I want you to bring yourself up. Bring that foot back right into your bottom and just see if you can get forwards again a little. And hold it there. And then lower the bum. See if you can flex your left foot and see if you can reach towards those toes. And I'm cheating a bit, let my knee roll out. See if you can keep your knee in. If you can get your bottom off the floor in this position, you're doing better than me. And release. And then let's come down. Lower yourself with control. Straighten or bend the right knee. This is the left hip flexor's turn. So with the knee, it's going to come towards the left shoulder, so slightly wider than the body, and I'm going to push it up towards the diagonal, towards the corner of the room. Inhale, pull it as close as you can. Hold your imprint. Exhale, push. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, go on, really pull and press. Don't let that back arch. If your back starts to arch or you're feeling any discomfort, bend the other knee. Makes this a lot easier. Still working, but you don't have to work quite so hard on that core. 2 more. In. Push. Now on this one, let's roll up. Let's bring the foot close. Let's see if we can get off the floor again. Press that knee forwards. And then let's sink the bottom and reach towards the toes. I'm better on this side. Okay, if you can get yourself off the floor and reach for your toes, amazing, go for it. But don't worry if you can't get here. If you can't get very far, just pop your hands down. You might just want to stay here. Work to your level and don't worry about it. Good. And then release. Straighten out your legs, give them a little wobble. Okay, now we're going to actually try and go into a squat. So this is where you want your towel again. You're going to roll your towel up, okay, and I'm going to roll mine and just leave one end free because you might not need it quite as high. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so we're going to use the towel under our heels. Now I want your feet to be about hip distance apart, slightly turned out if you need to be. Okay, I'm going to come back so you can see me. Right, so we're here. I'm putting my heels onto the towel. Toes are slightly turned out. And then we're going to hinge slightly at the hips and we're going to sink down into the squat. And we're going to see if we can get down low with a nice straight spine. Okay? Now if your towel isn't rolled up enough, roll it up a bit more. Your other option is put your heels on your blocks if you're really struggling. Okay? Now this should feel hard to stay here. So if you're just hanging out and it's quite easy, you want the towel to be not quite as rolled. You want to really lean forwards into this a little bit. So you get a nice bit of work going on in the ankles, but try and keep your back as straight as you can. Okay, so we're going to try and sink the shoulder blades. And just breathe. Now if you're not here, you might be here. It's going to make your thighs ache a bit more, so take a break when you need to. Good. Knees in line with the middle of your feet. Now see if you can get your hands to the floor and just round your back a little bit. And then bring it back up. Keep those knees forwards. Hold it there. Good. And then from here, put your hands on the floor. Just straighten out your legs a little bit. Bend them again. Breathe in. Breathe out, press the knees up, bend them again. See if you can go down, right down, inhale, wait for the clicks, exhale, push back up. Now if this feels okay, challenge yourself, flatten your towel out a little bit more, or bring your feet a little bit closer together and do the same thing. Do your squat, breathe in, and then press your bottom up, stretch your hamstrings. There'll come a point where you'll feel you're going to fall backwards. One more. Good. And then take the block away, the towel away, and get your block. And then I want you to bring your block so it's standing up like this. Now you don't want to just sit on it. Okay, you want to come into your squat position and rest your bottom on the block, but don't actually, I'm just having a holiday here, I'm just relaxing. So you might want to bring your feet further back to really challenge your ankles, and then I want you to lean forwards until you feel like you're really working through the rest of your body, okay? And just breathe in and out. You can relax your arms, shoulders down. So you need to just spend some time in this squat position, but you want to be active. This is how you get better at this. You get strong in this position. And it's great for your ankles, knees and hips to spend a bit of time in a deep squat every day, okay? Now if this feels okay and you think you can do this, and I'm not sure if I can this morning, you're going to come down and let your bottom just rest on the block, heels back, lean forwards. Again, stick with the higher version if you need to. My shins are starting to really ache now. Activate, lean forwards. Good. How are we doing? We started late, so we'll finish 5 minutes late. And then from here, come back up, give your legs a little shake, slowly restack. I know the hips will start to be aching a little bit. We're going to stretch them out at the end, I promise. Move your block, and I did say if you've got a chair, have it here. Pop your forearms on your chair. Okay, so we're in this position. Tip your tailbone up, hold the chair, and then just sink down, not all the way down for you, just to kind of just below halfway where you feel some work, but it's not the bottom of your stretch. And I want you to just do some little halves. Let's strengthen the thighs. We're going to do 10. 9. Now if you need the heels raised, bring your towel back under your heels or your block. Press those knees forwards, keep the heels down. 4, I've lost count, so we'll go for 4. 3, 2, 1. Can you get all the way down? Sink down, 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 down. Be active, brace the tummy, push the knees forwards. Inhale, my chair's starting to lift. One more breath. And come up. Inhale, exhale. If you want to work harder, take your towel away, move your feet further back. Hold. And then can you bring your arms forwards? Hold the chair if you need it. If I let go, I will fall on my back, okay? So you might want the block under your bum, or just keep holding your chair. Press the knees forwards. And then come up. Bit of shake. Restack. All the way up. Now, let's stretch the quad. Grab one foot, bring the heel towards the bum, squeeze the glutes. If you need to, you can have your knee just resting on your chair as you do this. Here's your option. If you get better stretch here, then go for it. Shoulders back. Let's do the other side. Foot to bum, knee back, squeeze the hips forwards. Good. going to just finish with some stretches, some opening. Work your hip flexors really hard, okay? But they need to be strengthened, so they will feel tight. So it's always a good idea to stretch them. So grab a towel, put it over your thick block. You could always do this with a ball in the small of your back as well. So this is just to raise the pelvis off the floor. So you lay back with your sacrum raised up. So I'm slightly lifted. If you want to be high, you could have a couple of blocks. You can also do this on a foam roller. Hug your right knee in, stretch your left leg out, and really lengthen the left hip. So just let it sink towards the floor. Just breathe in and out. Good. Stretch it away. This knee can be out. And then swap. Left knee in, really lengthen the right leg out, drop that leg. Breathe. And then if you can, grab the outsides or the insides of your feet. Knees nice and wide and just rock, or you can just be here and just release the inner thigh a little. Bring your feet in, bring the feet down, lift off. Hug the knees in, bring them towards your chest. Try and flatten your back out. Wrap your knees around them. And then rock yourself up. Good. Come all the way up. Straighten your legs out. Let's do a little twist and stretch through the glutes. So bring your right foot over onto the floor. Hug with your left arm and twist yourself around to the right. Breathe into it. And then let's do the other side. Let's straighten the right leg out. Bring the left foot over. And just turn. Look round to the left. Push off that left knee. Good. And then bring the soles of your feet together. Now I want you to bring your feet as close into your groin as you can. If that's too much for your knees, just have them out here, okay? So don't force the knees into discomfort. You bring the feet in, you let the feet fall open like a book, and then you lean forwards and work at trying to get your knees towards the floor, okay? You can give them a push, or you can just come forwards. If that's too much, just put your hands behind and press your chest forwards. Good, hold, couple more breaths. And then take your hands behind if they're not there already. Draw your shoulder blades down, lift your chest, and then see if you can lift your hips. Open that up. Don't worry if it's too much, just stay down and lift the chest. And release. And then from here, straighten your legs out, so they're about 90 degrees angle is formed. Flex through your feet, breathe in, sit tall. Now reach your right arm towards the left little toe, so stretch there and reach your left arm behind you a little, hold, and then come back up, nice and tall, and reach to the opposite, so little toe, look behind, and lift. Breathe in and again. And lift one more. And back up. And then sit however's comfortable for you. However you prefer, try and be comfortable. If you need to sit on a block, sit on a block. Give your shoulders a roll. Let's take a nice deep breath in. Let's breathe out and go over. Big reach down one side and swap. And then finish with another deep breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Big shrug. Drop. And release. Shake it out. Well done, everybody. I know those are tough, some of those hip stretches and hip strength work. Let me know what you found difficult. Let me know if you discovered where you had an issue with the squat, and if you had any, particular pain. Let me know, because I can give you some advice from a physio perspective, okay? Whether you should get some more investigation on it, whether you could just work on the strength to improve it, whether you need to release and kind of massage through things. So let me know, and I will see you again